Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is going to be a little bit different from the videos I usually do on my channel, which are many. This is going to be more of a candid video. I'm just going to be talking, not highly produced or edited or anything. This is just, I guess this is just me, my open thoughts, things I've been thinking in the days leading up to the upcoming 2024 election of the United States. And just putting out into the ether some thoughts that I've had that I want to see if other people are interested in and maybe can help me with. But I don't expect this to get too many views. So, but anyone that does view it, feel free to comment after watching the video. Of course, I know the title might be a bit not incendiary, but it can be off-putting for maybe conservatives. So, yeah. Please watch through because I feel like I'll make some fair points here. Yeah, like I said, sorry if I take long pauses and this video isn't going to be edited, so it's just going to be me rambling for a little bit. My question for conservatives is, how in good conscience can you vote for Donald Trump in the 2024 election? Given that he orchestrated the fake elector scandal, or he orchestrated, the fake elector plot to overthrow the democratic process and to institute himself as president for a second term. This is actually something that I only heard recently. I didn't know this happened on January 6th. If you had told me a few months ago, January 6th was about the people breaking into the Capitol building, had nothing to do with Trump trying to overthrow democracy. Whenever I heard people say things like that, I would think it's because they thought that the people breaking in would somehow maintain Trump's presidency or keep Trump in the office. And I don't think I'm partially at fault for that, right? For not investigating claims made and any issues that Trump had. But I think part of that is the media's fault. I think they've cried wolf so often that it's impossible to know when there's actually a wolf. They go up in arms over anything Trump does to the point where whenever they make noise, I can't pay attention to. Nobody who can trust the media nowadays. I was just rewatching the other day about how CNN treated Joe Rogan when he got infected with COVID and he took ivermectin and they edited the video to make him look gray. Just insane stuff. And like I said, you can't trust the media nowadays with anything. Really, you have to read the story and you can't take it at its word. And when I see headlines about Trump, I can't even trust him, even right now as someone who wouldn't label himself a Trump supporter. So, but anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there. That's, I guess, my excuse for not knowing about the elector scandal earlier. I was only made aware of it really when Destiny, leftist streamer Destiny, started debating people on it, and when he started going like full unhinged, no offense to Destiny, but after he started going off on the, making kind of sinister comments about the Trump assassination attempt and the man who was killed during the shooting. And basically Destiny went full mask off and he started debating a lot more aggressively about things like January 6th. And yeah, I didn't know anything about the elector scandal. Like I said, I knew nothing. I thought January 6th was about the people invading the Capitol building. Yeah. And after hearing the plot, which, if you're not aware, Trump essentially, after he realized he lost the election to Joe Biden, orchestrated a plot in which I believe it was the state senators would send fake electors, so from the Electoral College, to replace the valid electors and to have their vote go through instead of the real ones. So essentially he would replace votes against Donald Trump with fake electors who would vote for Donald Trump. And these would be fake. They refer to them often interchangeably as alternative electors, but they're fake electors. They, for the most part, refer to them, and they is the people orchestrating this plot in the direct under the direction of Trump and other people. Trump's son was involved for a majority of it. I think more so than Trump himself. And when you look at the what's concerning to me, well, let me finish this. Well, I guess that's the whole plot essentially, that you try to submit fake electors. But what's more concerning to me isn't just that Trump did it, because a politician tries to overthrow the democracy that they're getting voted in with, or the process that votes them in. They try to overthrow that. Yeah, that's problematic. But once they're out of office, you're like, okay, you're gonna keep them out. Don't vote them in. The only person who prevented this scandal from going through, or this process from actually happening, from them overthrowing the democratic process, was Mike Pence. Him saying no was the only thing stopping Trump from beginning a second term unofficially, or without actually winning the electoral votes. So I would hope conservatives on hearing that story can see how that's problematic. If Joe Biden were to do that in 2024, if he were to lose the election, and then, well, let's imagine that he was still running, right, and not Kamala Harris as of today, or not as of today, but at the day I'm recording this, Kamala Harris is running instead of Joe Biden because he dropped out, which brings up a bunch of other questions, like if you're not fit to run for a second term, how are you fit to be president today? Neither here nor there. That's not what this video is about. Look, I'm a conservative at the end of the day, but the problem here isn't Trump's ideals or his ideology. It's more so his character, like his willingness to overthrow democracy for his own sake. Like, we knew I know he's a narcissist, right? We knew this. This isn't a surprise. But not to the extent of throwing the entire country under the bus for his own gain. And that's where it becomes problematic. I don't even remember what I was on or what I was saying. I think a really big part of this that was problematic was how many noteworthy Republican officials were involved in this scandal. Just two off the top of my head that I saw recently were Senator Josh Hawley and Governor, I think Brian Kemp is his name. But there were a lot. I mean, almost every significant Republican senator, governor, congressperson. I don't know about congresspeople, but a lot of significant Republican politicians is what I'm saying were involved in this scandal. You can look through the names. Maybe at the end of this, when I'm closing this out, we'll review them a little bit. Yeah, let me actually share my screen real quick. So we'll go in and see, so you guys can look for yourself. So this is what you guys should read, right? If you're a conservative and you've never heard of this, look up Trump fake electors plot on Wikipedia. It'll explain exactly how it worked, how it happened, how Trump started this process of, yeah, I guess this is it. I feel like there's a lot of other pages, but yeah, just basically read through this, and it gives a story here of how Trump basically refused to leave, and then other people started, organizing the events that followed. So anyway, and on the other tab, you can see I had the Eastman memos. I don't know exactly what they were, but they're like communication between, I think his name is David Eastman, and yeah, I don't know. They're relevant also, but I think that's where they outlined kind of their plan. Like I said, it's neither here nor there. The details aren't important. The big picture is important, which is he tried to overthrow the election. Now, just with that, I think any conservative would struggle to defend voting for Trump, and they have. I've seen debates on January 6th. I think Destiny is the one mostly debating, although maybe I'm kind of a Destiny fan, to be honest. So despite being a conservative and disagreeing with him on basically everything, I feel like he's I feel like he tends to be fair. I know he can be kind of insane. I feel like more recently he's been more insane, but yeah, I do feel he's good faith, and he oftentimes he's fair. So And I understand his gripes with conservatives today. I feel like I agree with them. They're very much in tune to whatever Donald Trump says. They're at his whim, essentially. They're not willing to challenge him. Um, yeah, they're willing to overlook this elector scandal. Those are, I think, just those two things are very problematic, and any conservative that aligns with, or any conservative who that applies to, is really needs to look at themselves and question why they align with Trump on everything, why they're not willing to protest anything that Trump does, and why they don't have a problem with the elector scandal. Those are two questions that, as a conservative, I those two traits don't apply to me. I can't. Well, since Trump came on the scene, I can't endorse everything he says or does, right? And I know conservative would. I'm not expecting you to endorse everything he does, but what I'm saying is, to see things he does and not call them out is problematic in itself. Like you not being able to speak out about anything Trump does because you'll get shut down by your own party. Um, you know, the conservatives are now just worried about towing the party line, and that essentially means bowing down to Trump and doing whatever he says and he pleases. I mean, you saw it with like recent elections. Any election over the past 4 years is like if you get Trump's endorsement in a gubernatorial or a Senate election or Congress, any seat that you're up for, Trump's endorsement basically makes or breaks your campaign, and I feel like it's it's more so than it would be before. Like, look, I'm a young person. I'm not familiar with elections. Well, not that many elections, I mean. So I don't know how it's been in the past, but I can't imagine that it's the way it is now, where literally if you say one bad thing about Trump and you're like a congressperson looking for re-election, it'll like end your campaign. Like you know, the people will only vote for whoever Trump endorses, which is like insane to me. And if you don't think there's something weird about that, I think you need to look at yourself and question yourself and be like, why is that not problematic? That Trump essentially controls all the elections, all the Republican candidates, and re-election. Like, why is that the case? So yeah, and I've heard several debates on, most of them from Destiny, I think, on January 6th, and I haven't heard a conservative yet not only give a valid reason for Trump's attempting to overthrow the election, which is how I would assume they would start defending it, right? Because I think Trump's idea was that there was a valid reason or excuse for contesting the election results, and that was their kind of fringe plan. From what I understand, he had attorneys and advisors who said basically that because the results of the election are contentious, they have the right to present fake electors or alternative electors that agree with what they say, something like that. Like, obviously, I'm butchering it here, but basically, that's their basic argument. Like, the results are contentious, so we don't have to accept the real elector, right? Because the real elector is validating the results of a election that was rigged, essentially is what you were saying. But I haven't seen credible evidence of any rigged elections, and through whatever litigation they've had, like, I haven't kept up with that, but I haven't seen anything, concrete where it shows that a state had a rigged election against Trump, right? So, and if someone sees this video is willing to provide me that any evidence, I'm glad to see it. I'm open to whatever the information, whatever information's out there, and willing to change my mind. I'm not afraid to look like an idiot. I'm sure conservatives will already call me an idiot just for making this video, but yeah. So that was my train of thought. I feel like There's something else I wanted to say, but yeah, I don't know. Any conservatives that are watching this, just if you have an explanation for why, how you could vote for Trump in good conscience, I would like to hear it. I feel like, um, I feel like my only defense, like I haven't decided if I'm gonna vote yet. Obviously, I wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris. I'm deciding whether to vote or not, or vote for Trump, obviously. Um, and maybe I'd give away my vote to a third party candidate or something. I heard Rogan say he was gonna vote for RFK. I might give away my vote to RFK. I don't know, just as a protest vote. But um, I feel like there's still a scenario where I vote for Trump, but it'd have to be with a huge asterisk. Like I'm gonna have to concede, like, because I hear the questions Destiny asks of conservatives, and I'd have to concede, like, yeah, he did try to overthrow the democracy, and yeah, I'm hoping that it doesn't happen again, and I'm hoping that if it does, the guardrails are enough to contain it, and the only reason I'd vote for him is because I feel like the opposing option is that much worse, um, which I don't know if it is. I mean, look, Joe Biden's America isn't great, but do we want Kamala Harris's America, or do we want like a sad shadow of what America used to be if Trump overthrows democracy and 20 years down the line we have some, I don't know, Singapore style like soft authoritarian government, you know what I mean? And so that would be the alternative. Obviously, conservatives, if they hear this, would be like, oh yeah, that'd be great. Singapore has a great country. Well, an authoritarian government isn't great when you're not the one in power. Like, you know what I mean? Imagine the tables were turned and Joe Biden is suddenly the dictator for 20 years. I'm sure you'd be pissed. The way liberals would be pissed if, or yeah, if the way liberals would be pissed if Donald Trump had taken office the second term unjustly by overthrowing democracy. So, um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to add before ending this. But yeah, I don't know. Leave your responses. If anyone, I'm hoping somebody watches this and leaves me a response. I genuinely want to know. Like I said, that's my thought process. It's like, um, yeah, Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government, overthrow the democratic process. Um, but and then your explanation for why you vote for him. So it's like a huge explanation before you vote for him. It's a very problematic vote. I wish anybody other than Donald Trump would have won the primary. That would have been such an easy vote. But look, like I said, I'm conservative. I agree with Trump on basically everything. I'm more to the right of Trump. Uh, I'm more to the right than Trump is. I feel like so. Um, not. I feel like when people say far right nowadays, they mean like racist essentially. But obviously, I'm not a racist. But what I'm saying is ideologically, I'm more to the right on things like abortion, minimum wage, and things like that. Um, but I can't vote for him if I believe he tried to overthrow the government. Um, you can't. I don't know that I can vote in good conscience for someone who has no respect for government authority, and I feel like Donald Trump doesn't. He only has respect. He only has himself in mind, and we already knew that, but we didn't know he would overthrow the government, or he put himself over the government at the government's expense. So it is what it is. Respect to Mike Pence for preventing the overthrow of democracy. Um, and yeah, let me know what you guys think.